The beginning of everything. I met her on the wettest day of the year. The kind of day where London's sky drooped like a soaked handkerchief, and you could smell the loneliness in the air. I had missed my bus. Again. My umbrella had betrayed me 5 minutes into the storm. My soaked trainers squelched with every step as I crossed the pavement, mentally cursing my decision to move here. Then I saw her. Standing by the bus shelter, dry under a red umbrella, a coffee in one hand and a book in the other. She was laughing, actually laughing, at something she was reading. The world looked like it was ending, and she found a way to smile. And that's how Emily entered my story. Emily worked at a publishing house. I worked in IT support at the same firm. I'd seen her around, mostly in the elevators or at the vending machine arguing with it like it owed her rent. 2 days after the umbrella incident, we bumped into each other, literally, on the stairs. Her coffee met my shirt. It felt like karma. "Well, that's one way to start a conversation," she said, eyes wide, smirking. I didn't have a witty reply. All I remember saying was, "I think my shirt just filed for divorce." She laughed. That was it. That laugh, I would do anything to hear it again. We started talking more. At first, just quick greetings in the corridor. Then it turned into lunch breaks. Then coffee breaks. Then walks in the rain, on purpose. Her umbrella always made room for me. She had a quirky habit of naming random things. Her desk plant was called Bob. Her old MacBook was Lucifer. She told me stories about her life like she was narrating a novel. Her mother's obsession with romantic comedies, her dad's obsession with cooking shows, her pet turtle named Shakespeare. Emily was light. I was a storm. But somehow, she liked the rain. We kissed for the first time under the Waterloo Bridge. It wasn't planned. We had just come from an art exhibit where she mocked every painting like a professional critic with a sense of humor. We argued over a Banksy piece. "It's political, not romantic," I said. "It's romantic because it's political," she argued. She stopped walking, turned to me, and said, "You're wrong, but you're cute." Then she kissed me. It was warm and honest, and tasted like coffee and hope. It was the kind of kiss that made me forget the cold dampness of the evening. For 3 months, life was perfect. I mean, our version of perfect. We were broke. We lived off instant noodles and cheap wine. But we had each other. She painted my apartment wall with glow-in-the-dark stars. I wrote her short poems and stuck them in her coat pocket. We danced in the living room to 90s pop songs and whispered ridiculous dreams into each other's ears. She called me Rainboy. I called her Moonlight. And when we made love, it was never rushed. It was silent, slow, meaningful, like we were learning the map of each other's souls. She'd kiss me like I was fragile. I'd kiss her like she was magic. But even the brightest stars burn out, don't they? I first noticed the change in winter. She became distant. Her phone would buzz more often, and she'd reply quickly, then lock the screen like it was classified. Our walks became shorter. Our kisses, less frequent. Her laugh, the one that sounded like wind chimes, grew quieter. One night, I found her crying on the balcony. "What's wrong?" I asked. She looked at me like she wanted to speak, but instead, she wiped her tears and said, "It's just work." It wasn't just work. I knew it. I tried to be patient. I gave her space. I stopped asking questions that made her frown. But the silence between us thickened like fog. On New Year's Eve, we stayed in. She was unusually quiet all night, barely touching her wine. Just before midnight, I held her hand and said, "Let's promise to never lie to each other." She smiled. "You first." "I promise," I said. Then she looked at me and whispered, "I love you, Aiden." But it didn't feel like a promise. It felt like goodbye. 3 days later, I found a necklace under our bed. It wasn't hers. It had the initial J on it. I waited until she got home. I didn't yell. I didn't accuse. I simply placed the necklace on the table and looked at her. She froze. Her eyes darted between me and the necklace. "It's not what you think," she said. "Then tell me what it is." She sat down slowly, like her legs were made of regrets. "I didn't sleep with him," she began. "So there was a him. Then what happened?" I asked, struggling to keep my voice steady. I was lonely, she whispered. You were always working. I didn't want to hurt you. But you did, I said, my voice breaking. I didn't mean to. But you did. That night, I didn't sleep. She left to stay at a friend's. Said she needed time. I stayed on the floor of the living room, staring at the ceiling she once painted with invisible stars. Everything felt fake now. My chest felt like it had been carved out and filled with freezing water. She texted the next morning. I need space. I'll call you in a few days. But she didn't. A week passed. Then 2. I stopped waiting at the door like a dog hoping its owner would return. I stopped looking at my phone every 5 minutes. I tried to eat, sleep, breathe like a normal human. But every part of me had her fingerprints on it. One evening, my friend Liam forced me out for a drink. You need a break, he said. Let's go where hearts go to drink their weight in whiskey. We ended up at a pub near Shoreditch. Loud music, neon lights, and too many people pretending they weren't broken inside. I was 3 drinks in when I saw her. Emily. Laughing. With someone else. He had his arm around her. She was wearing the red scarf I bought her last Christmas. I didn't approach. I couldn't. My legs turned to stone. My hands curled into fists under the table. Liam saw her too. He didn't say anything. Just sat there, quietly, like if he made a noise, I'd shatter. She didn't notice me. Or maybe she did and looked away. When I got home that night, I deleted all her pictures. Blocked her on everything. But one thing I couldn't delete. That laugh in my memory. Weeks passed. I started writing again, really writing. I poured every ounce of my heartbreak into poems, letters I'd never send, and stories about people who loved too hard and got burned. And somehow, through that fire, I healed. Just a little. I smiled again. Laughed, genuinely. Even flirted with someone at the bookstore. But a part of me still wondered, why did she change? And what happened with Jay? Was it a mistake or something more? I never got answers. Until one letter changed everything. It came on a rainy morning, just like the day we met. No return address. Just my name on the envelope. Inside was a page torn from Emily's journal. Her handwriting. One sentence. I couldn't tell you then, but I lied to protect you from something worse. What did she mean? What was worse than heartbreak? And why now?